Professor Lovemore Madhuku. He's the man who has been representing the war veterans, also arguing on the matter that involves Prince Madhuku as a former MP for Pinga. Prof, welcome to Ozim News and social media. Just quickly, what does the ruling by the Concord mean when it comes to CAB3?
Okay, thank you. I think everyone will understand the language. Strike off the roll is not the same thing as dismissed. When a matter is before the court, it can either be dismissed, it can be granted, it can be struck off the roll. Sometimes they also use the term remove from the roll. So there's a very big difference between strike off the roll and dismissing. So the matter was not dismissed. What the Constitutional Court has said is that the matter was not properly before them. Remember, this matter went straight to the Constitutional Court. It had not gone to any other court. We were going to the Constitutional Court under a provision of the Constitution, which is Section 167, subsection 2, paragraph D, which says that you can go straight to the Constitutional Court as the only court to determine a matter where you say that the president has failed to fulfill constitutional obligations. Now, the Constitutional Court says that the obligations that we indicated the president had not fulfilled are not specific enough. You know, the duty to uphold the Constitution, the duty to respect the values of the liberation struggle, the duty to respect. Now they're saying, if you look at those obligations in the Constitution and what the president did, which is to chair a meeting which was actually discussing and approving proposals to amend, it's not clear in what way he has then failed to uphold the Constitution. And so for that reason, the matter is not one which must come under that section because it's not specific. That's understood. We still have to read the judgment. So that is what they have said. So they have not then gone into the issues and say, well, the president is right. They have not said that. They have simply said that they will not determine that because the obligations are unclear.
What's the way forward now, given that...
The way forward is very clear. The war veterans have given instructions that are very specific. They've said that then we should take the matter to the High Court. When this Constitutional Court says it is not, it's just simply striking a matter off and has not dismissed it. And that means they have not gone into those issues. So they want those issues to be gone into. This is what our clients, our war veterans. Those issues must be gone into by the High Court because the High Court cannot use the same excuse. It's an open, inherent jurisdiction of the High Court. So they have taken the same application, same complaint to the High Court. So the matter will then start at the High Court going up. So that is what they are now going to do regarding that aspect. But remember that this is just one of many cases against CAB3. In the other matter which Prince Tobacco Spanda took, which we also argued, the court has said it's not ripe, meaning that they would prefer that the National Assembly or Parliament finishes its job and then it's brought before the Constitutional Court. So that one is just going to be filed again in the Constitutional Court as soon as Parliament has voted on the bill. And that is before the President has even signed the bill into law.
Assume the Parliament does the voting today, it goes to the Senate, they're done maybe by next week. Before it's signed into law, you have to file. Does the filing stop the signing of the bill into an act?
Well, I think then there will have to be a separate action to ask the President to wait for the determination of the Constitutional Court. I'm sure he will wait even without a court action. We are not necessarily, we are going to be looking, because we haven't read the judgment by Justice Patel, but from what we appreciate and what is coming out from our client, it would appear that from the reasoning, we might not need to wait for Senate as long as some process has been completed by the National Assembly. Then that is enough to make it ripe. Because they are saying it's not ripe. Parliament has not made some decision.
But just quickly, I know you are rushing. Prof, the issue of key arguments against CAB, legally, that you would want an ordinary Zimbabwean to understand. A vendor in Mtorashanga to say CAB is bad in this way.
Well, I think that you must understand that this is an amendment, proposed amendment to the Constitution. So when we say it's bad, it can only be on the procedural aspect. regarding whether something is good or bad, that is a political decision. Let's take the first point where CAB3 wants, from now on, if it passes, that Zimbabweans will not be electing their president directly. This will be done in parliament. So the political decision, whether that is right or wrong, that's not going to go to court, that aspect. What is going to court is that you cannot make that amendment without a referendum. That's the argument.
Okay.
That amendment, I'm not referring to the extension of term, the very change that you now move from a direct election of the president to an election by the parliament, and then you want to do it without a referendum. Legally, there are so many arguments around that. One of them, which is easy to understand, is that the right to vote, which is in section 67 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, currently, before the amendment, does arise and is in everyone to elect their president. As we sit here before the amendment, you have a right to elect the president directly. So the only reason why you will not be able to elect the president is because there is a CAB3. So CAB3 would have reduced or limited the right you have currently under the Constitution. I hope I'm making clear that. I mean, every Zimbabwean, before CAB3 is law, every Zimbabwean, wherever they are, in their home, everywhere, every Zimbabwean, as we speak now, knows that they have a right to vote for the president. Then wait until CAB3 comes. When CAB3 comes, you will no longer have that right to vote for the president. That change, that amendment, that change is by CAB3. It can't be done without a referendum. So this is a legal argument. So in a way, although they've not said it in the CAB3 that they are amending the Bill of Rights, to amend the Bill of Rights doesn't simply require you to say so in your words. It is the effect of what you've done. If the effect of what you've done is that the rights which I was enjoying under the Bill of Rights, I no longer enjoy them, you have amended, so you need a referendum. So that is one. Then you have the argument that relates to the term limit, where you increase the length of time that people are in office from 5 to 7 years. And then not only that, you say that those people that are currently in office, without an election, without a referendum, they will simply continue. And they say that notwithstanding. So the current president will remain in office up to 2030. The current MPs will do that. That change, was a change, it's an amendment. That change would require a referendum in a way. In fact, it's invalid because it can't be done and you want this to benefit. I'm sure you've heard the argument that says it's not a term limit amendment.
It's a change of cycle and the like.
Okay, that is incorrect as a matter of law. And that is an argument which will be made in the courts. I've said it over and over. Today we'll read the judgments that, the Concord said it's not ripe. But I'm sure they might have made comments around there. But there are already issues that are clear about.
If you look through the bill, there is a very line that I found very, very worrying. To say, notwithstanding Section 297 that deals with that deals with the issue of the term length.
Yes.
And also if you look at the definition of the term length, it provides term length as the time when one can be in office. In your view, is it about political appetite or a lack of legal understanding to state that notwithstanding this, notwithstanding the provision of the Constitution, we still want to go ahead? Is that not a direct attack on the Constitution itself?
It's obvious. It's a direct attack on the Constitution. It is being done out of one reason: abuse of power. These are people who think that they can get away with it. So it's not that they don't realize that what they are doing is clearly not sensible, but it's just getting away with it, and that's what you do. I mean, let's say you have you are reminding me of those friends of mine who I want to use this language, caught red-handed, doing certain things, and they'll give an explanation, things like that, blah 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 blah, and so on, and then they can sometimes get away with it if either the other person chooses not to pursue the issue, or decides that I know you are not telling the truth, but I don't want to pursue it. They actually believe that the general public in this country, the millions of people in this country, will let it pass. and say, well, I mean, they're cheating us. Let them. That's the thinking. That's why their first instinctive reaction was to try and deal with everyone who was clearly saying the obvious things that, look, what you are doing. So don't go that far and say, are they, or even don't even listen to them when they claim that it's a psycho. I mean, every person must know that the moment you increase the length of time someone is in office from 5 to 7 years, you are dealing with a term limit. That's a term limit thing. And I must say that, remember, we had an argument, these cases that we had dealt with now, which had come out. Their lawyers were not making those arguments in court. Even now, they've survived because the court say we strike off. In the other case, the court said that we decline our jurisdiction. If they were clever, they should see danger there. The War Veterans challenge has not been dismissed. The other matter, as the court says, it's not ripe. Right? So it tells you a lot when it comes to this. So it's not about legal arguments. It's the abuse of power.
Last and importantly, do you foresee CAB coming through? All things being equal, you have done everything, you go all out. You're going back to the High Court, the journey ahead. Do you foresee CAB coming into life?
There will be no CAB3 in this country. There will be no CAB3. And I must make clear. So it doesn't matter what so many routes. We have legal routes, we have political routes. There will be no CAB3. No Zimbabwean must lose sleep over this thinking that one of these days we will have a Zimbabwe where a president will not be elected by the people of this country. Completely not. It's a laughable idea. I don't even take it. You think that they will wake up one day, the Zimbabwean of Zimbabwe, and then we sit there, we sit in our homes, we watch and see who is going to come out to be our next president.
Those opposing have been decimated, Prof.
No.
Politically, they are consequential in terms of numbers.
I'm answering your question. Your question is, you'll see. You shouldn't have a formula for its success or a formula for its failure. There's no need for a formula. What is important is that the amount of opposition to CAB3 in this country is unprecedented. You will not come across easily an issue where people in their overwhelming numbers. I mean, we can't have a situation like that. The amount of opposition to CAB3 is quite unprecedented. So because of that, formulas will be found. So currently, people should not mistake us for the strategies that are being followed. Soft, you go to court, you go to another court. The reason why that is being done is that we don't want people to be killed by these idiots. I think they should be called idiots. Because you cannot just wake up and decide that you have a very clear constitution that has also very reasonable provisions about 5-year terms and then 2 terms of 5 years. Those are very reasonable. And you just wake up and say, look, we are going to make it 7 and we're not going to have an election, we're not going to have a referendum. So that person will be an idiot. Then you get a situation where someone says, look, every Zimbabwean has the human dignity to be able to say, I participate in the affairs of the country, to elect a president of my choice. I may lose, my choice might not win, but I am participating in this part and parcel of political realization. Then you wake up and say, look, that is not going to happen. We will allow. Now, that idiotic approach means that those people may do worse things like we have seen. If they are prepared to do that, then they can easily do worse things. We have seen them beating up people, being unreasonable. Even they were wanting to do it in Parliament yesterday, right? Pushing a member of Parliament
out of Parliament.
Even a person who says just because you've gone 1 minute beyond your time in Parliament, can that even be a sin of that magnitude? So because of that, we fear that they might recklessly take away lives. So we can only reach that stage when it's unavoidable. So this is why we're pursuing. We are very mindful of the fact that this is opposed. We're also mindful of the fact that people will not allow it to pass and be law. But it's at what stage do you do the ultimate sacrifice? Ultimate sacrifices are left for the last minute. And that's what Zimbabweans must understand. So don't think that we'll just rush into the streets, start allowing these people. We are taking them step by step, right? Now they are coming out of a court. They realize that they have not won what they thought they would have won. They have not won anything. Like I've told you, the president is being taken to the High Court now by the war veterans, same issues, and he still has to be accountable. Why he will chair a meeting where he's discussing and approving his own benefits when there's a clear constitution? That still has to be determined. Parliament still has to go through this bill, and the Concord is waiting when the ripe time has come. That process must go in. And there are other challenges you are aware of which are taking place. Let's take those steps, not the last minute. You see, also, I am not, now because of the World Cup, I'm not a football fan, but here and there, because of the World Cup, I do watch certain. I also know that in the last minute, when in the last 5-10 minutes, the players, they do everything is possible to make sure that they secure a win or preserve that. That is what is going to happen with the struggle against CAB3. At the last minute, if these other steps fail, there will be sufficient sacrifices to stop CAB3. So CAB3 is never going to be part of our process.
Ziambi says Prof. Madhuku is not a constitutional lawyer. He's just a constitutional lecturer. I'm the constitutional lawyer. You're addressing ZANU-PF supporters there. How do you react to such kind of a comment?
No, I shouldn't react to that. Because I'm sure he was addressing a political meeting, and being a constitutional expert is not politics. So I will be mixing things if I were to come to this platform and start responding to that issue. So I will leave it like that.
But do you see him as a constitutional expert himself?
No, I mean, I can maintain my position. I shouldn't mix these things. Being a constitutional expert, being involved in legal education, being a professor, all those things are not things that will be defended in platforms such as these things. So I am not going to comment on that.
Prof, thank you very much for your time.